You're still on mute if you're trying to talk.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, how are you doing?
Yeah, not too thanks. Not too bad, thanks, Audrius.
Right, Marco, I'll let you do the webinar. I'll pop my camera off and I'll mute myself, but I'll be back to I'll be coming back with the questions when you have the time for the questions, if that's okay.
Yeah, of course. I mean, very briefly, I'm going to split the presentation into 4 parts, so there'll be ample time to ask questions at the end of each part.
Okay, excellent. Have fun and good luck.
Right, well, I'm just sharing my screen now. Hopefully all of you can see the PowerPoint presentation. So yeah, welcome to today's presentation on SEO and how to be found on Google. So I'll talk to you a bit about, first of all, why we're conducting this presentation, and then we'll go into the structure and what we're going to cover today. So who are we? Well, we're Green Gecko Digital. We're an SEO and web company based in Leeds. We started in 2016. We rank for over 400 keywords, of which a lot are all around SEO and leads. So for example, SEO company leads, SEO services leads, etc. And you'll find that we're at the very, not only are we on page 1, but we're at the very top of page 1 for the organic results. We've got now, I think, 32 5-star reviews on Google, and we've got another 16 or 17 on Facebook. So we've got lots of great reviews. And then lastly, we're a digital enterprise approved supplier and mentor. So we know what we're talking about. I've been doing this since I was 14, and I've seen how, especially SEO, changes over that time as well. So we'll move on to the structure of the presentation, and then it will make a bit more sense about what we're actually talking about. So first of all, we'll talk about what is SEO, the very basic level. What actually is SEO? We won't spend too much time on this, but we'll just merely highlight what people often confuse SEO with. And then we'll move on to keyword research. So this is where we find feasible keywords that we could rank our website for. Then we'll move on to content, how we write content around our chosen keywords. And then we'll move on to the third page, which is on-page optimization, which is the process of putting the content on your website in an SEO-friendly manner. And then lastly, we'll talk about backlinks and how we build backlinks pointing towards your website. And we'll talk about what a backlink actually is as well. So this is the 4-step process we adopt when it comes to SEO. And what we'll do at the end of each section, we'll have a little questions opportunity, as I'm sure there's bound to be questions. So please feel free to ask questions during the presentation, and then I think Audrius will ask these questions to me at the end of each section. So we'll start off at the very first thing we're talking about, which is actually what is SEO. Well, I'll show you what SEO is. It's probably the easiest way for me is to actually show you. We'll go on Google, we're typing in a phrase, or in other words, a keyword into Google. Now, SEO is the first organic result that comes up. And what I mean by organic, not a paid ad. And again, I'll show you an example of this very shortly. But it's the first organic result that pops up, and you don't have to pay for this. So every time someone clicks on this, it doesn't charge you. Whereas the other alternative, pay-per-click, actually does. And I'll highlight this very, very shortly. Another way of displaying your website on Google is through Google Maps and having a Google My Business account. This is another form of SEO. So not only being seen on the organic listing itself, but actually on the map as well. So again, there's lots of different ways how we can appear on Google. Now, this is what I mean by pay-per-click. So this is nothing to do with SEO. You may see I've circled that there's a little box that says ads. So these companies are actually paying to be at the very top. They pay per click. And this is not SEO. So the main differences between pay-per-click and SEO is pay-per-click, you pay per click and you allocate a budget towards that. And once your budget is met, you no longer show. Whereas SEO, you do all the hard work to get yourself onto page 1, but it doesn't actually cost you per click. And if you decide, for whatever reason, to stop your budget, you won't immediately see yourself drop off page 1, whereas with pay-per-click, instantly you'll be, the Google will take you off if you no longer have a budget. And we'll talk a bit more about the benefits of SEO throughout all sections of the presentation. But very, very generally speaking, if you're in business for the long term, if you're in business for at least, I'd say 2+ years, then SEO is a really good strategy of actually generating new business through Google. However, if you're a business that's very short term, for example, we've had lots of inquiries recently, a lot of new startup PPE companies obviously wanting to sell PPE during this crisis, coming to us with inquiries. Well, SEO probably isn't the best form of marketing to go ahead with, just because SEO takes time to actually see results. If you're looking for a short-term win, then pay-per-click's a really good option. However, if you're in business for the medium to long term, then SEO beats it always. And you'll often find that the cost attributed to SEO in the long run is far, far less than what you would have to pay pay-per-click wise. So before I actually get into the 4-step process that we undertake here at Green Gecko Digital, does anyone have any questions on what SEO is, or anything a bit more generic before we jump into keyword research? Okay, well, I can just see a flash. I just want to see what's... Okay, so Susan's asked about on-site and off-site SEO. Is this still relevant? We'll come on to this on the third part of the presentation, which is all about on-page optimization, which is on-site. So we'll touch upon that in the third part of the presentation. So if I go back to my slideshow, put this down. So first of all, is keyword research. Now, what we'll do is we'll actually conduct an exercise very shortly together, because we normally deliver this presentation in a workshop format. And it's an interactive session where we actually, pick a couple of people in the workshop and we go through their business and try and find feasible keywords. So we'll do that very shortly. But before we do that, I just want to talk about 3 main factors that we think about in keyword research. So first of all, the most important one is relevancy. Now, what on earth is relevancy? Very simple. The relevancy is the keyword has to be extremely relevant to what you do as a business. Now, for example, let's just say you're an accounting firm in Leeds. So you're in a group of accountants. Well, a relevant keyword will be something as simple as accountants Leeds. That's what a potential customer could type in to get to your business. And it's really important to be relevant, because Google's smart enough to actually know what your website and what your business actually does. So if you're trying to rank for something other than accounting, it's going to say, hey, this is an accounting website. Why are we trying to rank for, I don't know, a solicitor or conveyancer keyword? So you've got to be extremely relevant to what you do. Second of all is search volume. Again, really important. What actually is search volume? Search volume is the number of searches every month that Google gets for that keyword. And again, here it's important to get a nice balance. You want a keyword that obviously has decent amount of search volume. You don't want a keyword that only has 10 people searching it every month, because your odds of getting an inquiry from 10 people every month are quite slim. So we want to have some good numbers in there, and that differs from industry to industry. Other large industries, let's just say estate agents and Leeds, will get thousands of searches every single month, whereas more niche industries will only maybe get 50 a month. So it's quite hard to say what a good number is, but by actually doing a bit of research into your industry, you'll be able to see what the norm is, and you'll be able to see what's feasible. Now, lastly is difficulty. Difficulty is how difficult it is to rank for that keyword. And that has a strong correlation with the search volume. So what you'll often find is those keywords that have really high search volumes are often very difficult to rank for, because it's a very competitive industry, or there have been a few really big dominant players in the market for the past 10 years, and it's very, very hard to knock them off the top spot. So again, here it's about being realistic. The first question we need to ask ourselves is where is our website at? And I'll give you two contrasting examples to think about. Firstly, let's say we're a new startup, we're less than 6 months old, we've got a new website, we don't really have much out there on the web, we're a new company. Well, in that case, we've got to take it very, very easy. We've got to actually look for smaller keywords that are less competitive and go for those small, easy, quick wins. And then maybe a year down the line, once our website is being picked up and it's seen as a bit more of an authoritative source by Google, then we can actually start ranking for the slightly bigger keywords that have a bit more search volume and slightly more difficult to rank for. So that's kind of one option at where some businesses are. I mean, the other option is we're an established business. We've been around 5 years. We've got a good website. We've got an in-house team that updates the website quite often. And we already naturally rank for a couple of keywords just by doing what we do, but we'd actually want to put some thought into it and actually have a proactive SEO strategy to rank higher on Google. Well, in that case, you've been around 5 years, you'll naturally find that your website has been picked up by Google. A lot of other websites have been linking to it, and you're probably already seen as a somewhat authoritative website, in which case you'll find it slightly easier to rank for keywords just because you're an established site. So there's kind of two examples, give you a bit of an idea on where to start. Now, again, I talked about the example accountants leads, and I'm just going to make it, I'm just going to drill through these 3 factors again and just show you where we can find them. Now, this is a screenshot from premium SEO software that we use here at Green Gecko Digital called Ahrefs, Ahrefs. I'll put a link to it in the chat shortly. Now, this is really good software for a number of reasons, but it has a really good keyword explorer tool that we can use to find keywords that we can then review and see if they're feasible. Now, we're going to go over those 3 metrics, those 3 factors before: relevancy, search volume, and difficulty. So, I mean, this is a screenshot from actually last year. So, you know what, the search volume could have changed slightly, the difficulty could have changed slightly, but not majorly. Now, let's go back to the example. We're an accountant in Leeds, and we're looking for keywords to rank for. Well, this is the great place to start, accountants Leeds. Now, is the keyword relevant? Yes, it's extremely relevant. It's extremely relevant to what we do. So that's a good big tick in the box for the first one. Second of all, search volume. Does it have a good amount of search volume? Well, if we have a look here, you can see in the middle of the screenshot, you can see there's 250 people searching for that keyword every single month in the UK, that is. So that's, it's a pretty good search volume for the accounting industry in Leeds. Obviously, if we were to add London on the end, you may see that go above 1,000. Again, Manchester, bigger than Leeds, you'd expect around 400, something like that. But for Leeds, I can tell you from experience, 250 is a good number. So we're happy with the search volume. Now, it's the last thing we need to think about, which is keyword difficulty. Now, there's lots of different premium SEO software you can use that will give you this information, and they're all slightly different and have their own pros and cons. With this one, it gives you a score out of 100. So as you can see on the left-hand side, it says keyword difficulty 15. Now this is a score out of 100, and it says medium difficulty. And it basically works this out by looking at backlinks that point to that specific page. Now, a backlink is a link from another website pointing towards your website. And in this particular case, it's a link from another website pointing to this particular page that ranks for accountants Leeds. Again, we'll talk about backlinks in step 4 of the process in more detail, so don't worry about that for now. But as we can see, it said it's a medium difficulty. Now, I always take this with a pinch of salt. I always do a bit more research to find out actually how accurate, this medium difficulty is. And what we'll do is I'll talk you through it in person now, and we'll do it in real time on what I do to assess the feasibility of a keyword. So we'll do this in real time together. And I think it's actually best if we use an example from someone in the audience listening. So if someone would like to just put in the chat, maybe just what their business does and maybe the location they does it in, I can have a quick look and I can pick one, and we can do a keyword research exercise in real time together. Now, I'm not going to pick the first one that comes up. I'll pick the one that I think is easiest to explain, and ideally something I've got experience in. So let's have a look. Let's see what comes up here. We've got lots. This is really good stuff. Okay, office space York. Okay, we've ranked for office space before, so I think this is one that it'd be good to actually show you about. So I'm just going to go off the PowerPoint, and I'll bring up our Keyword Explorer. So we're going to actually start off with office space York and see what pops up. Now, it's telling me to update this. It was last updated the 29th of April. That instantly tells me that not a lot of people using Ahrefs are actually trying to rank for this keyword, which I suppose is a good thing because it tells you it's going to be low competition anyway. Now, I can tell you from experience, the keyword office space York is a good one to rank for. However, I know there will be a better one that will pop up when we do a bit more research. It could be something like office to let York or office for rent York. They'll be the main keywords. Well, I'm guessing, I think so anyway. So what we've just updated this keyword, and what's it telling us? Well, it's telling us first of all that it's very, very easy to rank for. Now, as I said previously, I always do another check just to make sure that this makes sense. And I'll tell you, we'll go through the check that I carry out just to verify what they're saying. So again, this is really good software. I'm going to scroll down to the bottom of this result. And as you can see now, I'm looking at the top 10 results that rank for the keyword office space York. So this is really good software. It tells us loads of really good information. Right. So this is what I'm looking at. As you can see, I've got lots of different columns down here at the top. Now, there's only really a couple of these columns that I'm actually interested in. A lot of them I'm not too bothered about. The first one I want to have a look at is DR. As you can see, I've hovered over here. I don't know if you can see it or not. It stands for domain rating. Essentially, your domain rating is a score between 0 and 100. 0 being it's not an authoritative website, so it's not a good website, but that could be that it's a new website and therefore it hasn't been picked up. So think about that. Obviously 100 being a really good website, it's very well referenced throughout the web, but it's very, very rare that you'll see websites that are, 80, 90, 100. They're reserved for the likes of, Facebook, Google, etc. Most websites you'll see will be probably within the range of, 10 to 60, something like that. So as you can see, I'm going to have a brief look at the domain ratings for our competition, in effect. So 34, 59, 84, 32, 61, 46, 65, 10. Well, okay, some of these are quite high numbers. And what I mean by that is we've got an 84 from Rightmove, of course, it's Rightmove, a massive company. We've got a 61 from Property Link. We've got a 59 from Instant Office. I know Instant Office, they rank for lots of keywords around leads as well. However, if we look at the other side, we've got a company down here, Barry Crooks. They've got a domain rating of 10, which in comparison to at the top 10 is actually quite low. So first of all, step one here is to actually assess your website. Well, what domain rating is my website? Because if it's, if my website has a domain rating of say 34, which is the top result here, then I know I'm within a fighting chance of ranking on page 1. If my domain rating is above 34, I know I'm in a good position to actually rank on page 1. However, if I'm a new business and my domain rating is 2 or 3, then I know it's probably going to take a bit more work or a bit more time to actually rank on page 1 for the keyword. So step number one, you've always got to assess where you are, where your website is. Now, how, the question then follows, how do I know what my domain rating is? And there's lots of different websites that will give you this. I actually believe Ahrefs, they've got a special offer on. I think it's, I don't know, I forgot what the actual price is, but they give you a week trial at a discounted rate. And obviously, if you signed up, you'd be able to see what your domain rating is. But there's lots of other software that sometimes some of them have a free trial period, and you'll be able to put in your URL into their software, and it will tell you roughly what your domain rating is. Now, obviously, this can go up, it can go down, depending on what you do to your website. Obviously, in our industry, we want to increase this domain rating as high as possible, but in a sustainable manner. So, just to recap, we've looked at a keyword, we've gone to the domain rating, and we've just kind of had a quick look and said, well, does our website fit in there? If the answer is yes, then we've got a good starting point. If the answer is no, we need to maybe look for keywords that are even easier to rank for. Now, one other thing I look for here is backlinks. Again, we're going to talk a bit more about backlinks in the fourth part of the presentation, but I want to actually have a look at how many backlinks each of these pages actually has. Now, this is really good news because we can see that, the 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 2, 0, very low numbers. Now, this is good news because obviously what this tells me is if I have a domain rating of, let's just say 10 or above, and I can get maybe 2 backlinks, then again, I could probably rank on page 1 for this keyword. So in fact, you know what? This keyword is relatively easy to rank for, which I suppose if we scroll up to the top, marries up to what they spit out here on this figure here. But I always like to double check because sometimes it's quite misleading, because what you'll do is you'll scroll down to here and you'll find that all these domain ratings are really high, they're 60, 70, 80, 90, and your site's maybe only 20. And then we have to find easier keywords. So it's always good to have a quick look at 2 variables. Have a look at the domain rating and have a look at the backlinks. And again, you'd need software to have a look at these. You wouldn't be able to see these essentially free of charge. I suppose just a quick note on SEO software. It's well worth its investment. It's not too expensive. And obviously, if you do your keyword research incorrectly using, guesswork, or you're not using the correct data, then everything else you do from that point on is a complete waste of time. Keyword research is the quickest part of the process. It can take an hour, but the other remaining 3 parts of the process are quite time consuming. So imagine, spending a quick half an hour, a quick hour on the research part, and then putting in a couple of days on the other side, and it's for a keyword that's not feasible. So it's really, really important. I can't stress that enough to actually make sure the data on the research side of it, step 1, is correct. So we've put in the keyword office space York, which is great, which is really good. But this software also tells us other things as well. If I scroll down to here, it brings up a few different other ideas as well. Now, obviously, we can see here it's bringing up with New York, which obviously is completely irrelevant. It's highly unlikely that the company that we're looking at operates in New York too. So obviously we're going to ignore those, and we can actually insert another filter to remove everything to do with New York, which we can have a look at shortly. Now, over here on the left, it's a good function. We can have a look at keyword ideas. Now, a lot of these will be irrelevant. However, we can actually filter these and look at other potential keywords. So first of all, I'm going to filter keyword difficulty, which stands for KD, keyword difficulty, by a maximum of 5. That's 5 out of 100. So this essentially gives us the easier keywords. Now, I want to get rid of New York, don't I? So I'm going to exclude the word new, which hopefully will get rid of all the New York search terms. Now, again, some of these won't be relevant, but let's just pick out the ones that are. Now, we're looking at commercial offices to rent in York. So let's have a look what comes up. There's shops to rent in York, but I want to keep to the office trends. So let's find maybe something to do with office. So I'm going to include the word office. Right, so here we go. This is the better well, arguably a better keyword to rank for. We've got small office space for rent, York. So it gets more search volume. It gets 100 people every single month searching for small office space for rent. Now I can see it doesn't include York, so let me include the word York. Okay, I'm just going to slightly relax this to 10 and let's see what pops up. I mean, generally speaking, 10 out of 100 is an easy keyword to rank for. So it still comes out, it actually still comes out with office space York is the best keyword to rank for, because I think office outlet York isn't relevant. And obviously we talked about relevancy. I don't think that would be relevant. I could be wrong, but I don't think it's relevant. Now, let's try and relax this slightly. Let's assume we've got a website that's maybe 2 or 3 years old and therefore can rank for more difficult keywords. Again, it's coming out, this one's the best one to rank for. So actually, that was a really good keyword to put in the box, office space York. Again, there's other keywords, there's office York, virtual office York. So that gives us an idea of what we can go by. Now I'm going to go back to the overview page and just want to make sure I haven't missed out anything. Now, if we have a look here, you'll be able to see there's a CPC figure that's $12. I mean, all these figures are in dollars. Obviously, we convert that to pounds, around £9, £10, something like that. This is what you'd have to pay to Google for pay-per-click to rank for this keyword. So you'd have to pay £9, £10 per click for office space York. And you can do the maths. Well, if you're maybe getting, say you're ranking at, you're getting 1/3 of the search volume, so 1/3 of 80, for ease of maths, let's just call it 25, or let's call it 30. 30, and you're paying £10 a click. Well, that's £300 a month you'd be paying in pay-per-click to generate what you would do in SEO. So what you've got to understand is, well, how much is that going to cost me in SEO to rank for those keywords? Again, if you're doing it yourself and you've got the skill set, that's great. You can certainly profit from that. Or if you're using a company, you're outsourcing it for a company to do it, you've got to work out if you can make money on that from your commission. So what we'll do is, because this is often the most important part of the process, we'll do one more example together. So if I go back to the chat box, which is here, I'll pick out one more company, and we'll do one more keyword research exercise together before moving on and taking questions. Okay, let's give podiatry a try. I just want to see if there's a search volume there first. And what we'll do is, just because podiatry could be a bit niche, I'm going to put in Leeds first of all. If Leeds doesn't give big volumes, which it doesn't, I'm just going to put in London, which will give a bigger volume. Okay, so we've got 90, so this is great. Now, obviously London's a bigger target market, a bigger market than Leeds, so you're going to get higher search volume for pretty much anything. We can see in London, every single month, there's 90 people searching for podiatry in London. And obviously 90 may not seem a lot of searches, but that just tells you the size of the market. Obviously they could be typing in other things to do with podiatry, and they could actually be typing in their problems and not actually know that they need podiatry. So they could be typing in like, my foot hurts or something like that, which then leads them on to podiatry. So again, what we're going to do, well, first of all, let's verify how easy this keyword is to rank for. I can see straight away here, it's bringing an easy figure, which is 0. So let's verify that. Let's scroll down to the bottom. Okay, this is actually a better keyword for me to show you, because it's actually slightly easier to rank for. So first of all, we're looking at domain rating. Now, this is really good for anyone looking to rank for podiatry who's a new business, because there's some really low figures here. We've got 4, 7, 8, 9. This is really good news. So this tells me that, in fact, we can be on page 1 pretty quick from having a new site. We've got some really low domain rated sites, 4, 7, 8, 9, single figures. That's great. However, we want to have a look at backlinks as well. Well, there's some pretty big numbers here. You know, there's 172, 68, 289, some pretty big numbers. However, there's a 0, there's a 0, there's a 2. Now, if I have a look at the zeros, we can see this 0, it comes from quite a well-referenced high domain site, 56. It may not seem 56 a high score, but that is a very high score for a domain rating, that is. So, okay, we can't compete with these guys if we're a new business because they have such a high domain rating. Similar, the exact same idea here, these guys have 67. Again, that's a really high score with 0 backlinks. However, you can see how powerful good backlinks actually are. And I use the example here. So number 2, these companies ranked second. They've got a really low domain rating 4, but they've actually helped themselves by getting some really good quality backlinks. So this tells me if we're a new website and we get some really good quality backlinks, then yeah, I think we could probably potentially rank on page 1. So this is good news. So what this essentially tells us is, yes, it's feasible, but we need to put a lot of time into backlinks and generating good quality backlinks, which again, we'll come on to on part 4 of the presentation. Well, let's have a quick look at the keywords and let's see what we'd have to pay for it. Well, we'd have to pay $4.50, which is what, £3.50, let's say. We'd have to pay £3.50 per click for that keyword in London. So not as expensive as office space in York, but you know, nevertheless, that's a reoccurring cost that's going to you have to budget for. Right, if we scroll down, we can see a couple of keywords that it suggests. Again, this is the one we're looking at, Podiatry London, which looks to be one of the biggest relevant keywords. There's London Podiatry Centre. However, that will be a company or a brand name, so I wouldn't recommend ranking for that because Google will know that you're not that company, so it will not put you in the number 1 spot. Unlike pay-per-click, I would highly recommend not ranking for competitor brand names. With pay-per-click, you can do that and you can do it quite well, but with SEO, it's a big no-no. But, you know, we've got other keywords we could potentially rank for. Podiatry Clinic London. Obviously, jobs, that's probably not relevant, but Podiatry Clinic London would be a good one to rank for. But obviously here, I think the trick with this keyword is actually to think about what your potential customer would put into Google. You know, I think they'd actually put in something to do with whatever their health issue is. I don't actually think they'll know they'll need to go to a podiatry clinic. So a good idea here, a good strategy here, what I think could work is to have a very good informational website that's maybe blog orientated, that has really good information that adds value and ranks on page 1 for people that, you know, have health related issues. And within the copy itself, within the copy of your website, it tells people, well, you need some podiatry help, you need to come into our clinic. And it has that kind of angle, that compelling copy that encourages the potential customer to contact and you know, seek your service, rather than just saying, hey, we're a podiatry clinic. So I hope that helps in terms of keyword research. I think that's everything we wanted to talk about in the exercise. However, you know, I'd like to open up for any questions. If you have any questions on keyword research before we move on to the second stage, which is the content itself. Okay, so I can see we've got a question here. How many keywords would you pick? That's a really good question. So there's a couple of ways of going about this. And I'll see if I can use the example we've got up here. So, let me maybe pick one slightly different. I'm going to put a more generic keyword in and to answer the question, basically. So the question is, how many keywords shall I go for? Well, obviously, the more keywords you go for, the better, because you'll be seen on Google for a large number of keywords. However, there's a kind of a right and wrong way about going about it. Obviously, It's all about quality here rather than quantity. Especially Google recognise that it's all about being relevant and providing quality information rather than just going for the quantity. So here's an example. So let's just say I want to rank for the keyword estate agents leads. Well, obviously we've got the main keyword itself, estate agents leads, but we've got lots of other related keywords that are called phrase matches. So again, I'm not interested in brands, Hunters, Hogan's, I'm not interested in that, but I'm interested in other things we could potentially rank for. So we've got estate agents leads here, but we've also got estate agents lead city centre. Obviously these two keywords are very similar and very relevant. One's saying leads, one's saying city centre, basically tagged on the end. So if you actually have an estate agent that's based in Leeds and based in Leeds city centre, it would be relevant to rank for both of these keywords. And you could actually rank for both of those keywords on the same page by incorporating it into your copy. And again, we'll come on to that in step 2 onto content and about how we incorporate keywords into the content. So if I have a quick look at the Q&A, let's see any other questions. Is it obvious on the results page on Google which result is there due to the SEO effectiveness because they pay for each click? If you remember back at the start of the presentation, I circled the results that have a little box that says add. If there's a little box that says add, it basically means that they're paying to be there. But if it doesn't say add, then it's organic, it's SEO. Let's have another look here. Should you try to get a mixture of high and low volume keywords to get exposure? So what I do first of all is you've got to be realistic with yourself. Step 1 is to assess where you are currently. If you're a new site, then I'd go for the easier keywords, and obviously the easier keywords have lower volumes, don't they? However, if you're an existing business that has a well-referenced website that's seen as authoritative and has a medium domain rating, then yeah, you could certainly go for the high volume keywords. So it all depends where you are as a business. I can see a specific one here from Stephen. That'd be hard to say without having a look at your Google Search Console. So feel free to give me a message at the end of the presentation and we can have a look at that. Got some comments on Ahrefs. Did the text? Any link from Facebook is considered a backlink, but it's a no follow backlink, which we'll come on to at step 4. That's from Miriam. Is there any free software? That's a good question. You can maybe look up a company it's called Keyword.io. A couple of years ago, they had a free version. I'm not too sure if it's still free, but a lot of them now charge for it. And I'd be reluctant to use free software just because the data is not great. You can always just sign up to a monthly plan and cancel it after the first month once you've got the keywords you need, and it will save you a lot more in the long run. Audrius, do you have any other questions for me at all?
Hi, Marco. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was quite reluctant to get back into the webinar because of the constant drillings happening. We've got a question from Jeanette. She's asking, should you try to have a mixture of high and low volume words to get exposure to your website?
Yeah, I think I answered that earlier on. Basically, just to reiterate the point, I suppose, it depends on where you are currently with your website. If you're a new website or a website with a low domain rating, you really can't rank for high volume keywords because the odds of them being very difficult. So you have to start off with the lower volume keywords. However, conversely, if you have a website that has a high domain rating, you've been around a while, then you'll be able to potentially go for those larger keywords that are naturally more difficult to rank for.
Mm-hmm. And we've got one more question from Heather. She's asking, is there a way to find keyword information from Google somewhere?
Well, that's a really good question. Up until the past couple of years, yes. So Google had all the information that you could take. However, they've no longer given access to that now, hence why these SEO software providers have become so popular and now charge for it. So you used to be able to get that data from AdWords, Google AdWords, but you can't get that anymore. which isn't great. So yeah, it's very hard to get free good keyword data. It's normally paid.
And a straightforward question, and I think it's pretty easy for you to answer, from Diane. She says, I have the Google My Business app. Do I have to pay for Google Ads?
Yeah, Google Ads you have to pay for. So Google Ads is pay-per-click, so you have to pay for that. But SEO, you don't pay-per-click now.
Yes. And that's it at the moment. I'll be sure to come back with a series of questions after we have after you finish the content bit.
Yeah, sure, of course. Okay, so content. Normally my colleague Louise presents this topic. She's an expert in this area. And this, I suppose, just illustrates how multi-skilled you really need to be in SEO. And what I mean by that is, obviously, we've had a look at keyword research step 1, which you need to have you need to understand your business really well. You need to be good with numbers, and you need to be good with strategy. Now, content is a completely different skill. You need to be able to write really compelling English and be able to write in a way for Google and a way to get in those keywords, which I'll touch upon very shortly. I mean, personally, I'm not very good at this area, hence why I hire people to do this. But obviously, you may not have a choice if you want to undertake SEO yourself rather than hiring someone. You may have to write that content yourself. So I'm going to talk about a few different things. We're going to talk about readability. We're going to talk about the length of the content. Active and passive voice, that's normally what Louise talks about in a bit more detail. I'm not going to cover that today because I'll be honest, I'm not great at it. And then we're going to talk about Yoast, which is a really good software that I'm sure a few of you have heard about. And then lastly, a bit about proofreading. So how readable is your content? And what we mean by this, if you go to your website, is your content displayed in a clear, legible way? Is it a nice, smooth process flow for the user? That's a really important thing in SEO and essentially in web design as a core. Whoever's building your website needs to have that expertise in user experience. They need to understand your particular customer and what they're coming to do on the site. So first of all, we've got to make sure that the site is readable. And what I mean by that is we've got titles, we've got subtitles, we've got paragraph text, we've got buttons, we've got images. Everything looks quite legible and nice. And obviously, with that, it goes without saying, the site needs to be mobile friendly and responsive to the varying screen sizes. So that's a given. We're assuming that your website is set out in a great way. If it's not, I'd strongly recommend rebuilding the site or redisplaying the site before undertaking any SEO activities. Because Google will know if your website is not mobile friendly, and Google will know if users are having a difficult time on your website, because Google obviously holds a lot of data on how long people are spending on your website, how many pages they're looking at on your website. And the whole idea is we want to tell Google that our website is great, people are spending a lot of time on the website, people are reading the website thoroughly, and people aren't simply just bouncing on the website. And what I mean by that is people aren't coming to the website and clicking the cross in the top right and leaving straight away. So we've got to have a website that is built right, first of all. Now, length. Obviously, we've got to write some content around these keywords, right? This is one step of actually allowing Google to index the website. And what I mean by index is crawl through it and read the website and be able to work out what we're actually talking about on the page, right? So we need to include the keyword we're trying to rank for in the content that we're writing. Now, generally speaking, the longer the content, the better. And what I mean by this is it will give us an opportunity to provide more valuable information, because obviously we're going into more detail, aren't we? And just to elaborate on that point, let's just say, let's use the podiatry example before. So I don't know, I've got something wrong with my feet, and I really want to find out what the answer is. What is the solution? And there's two websites. There's one website, it gives me a quick, 300 words on what the potential problem could be. But there's another website, it gives me maybe 800 words on what the potential problems are. It goes into a bit more detail, and it actually tells me what to do next. You know, what would you prefer as a user? I definitely prefer the 800 word one that goes into a bit more detail and actually gives me a bit of an idea of what to do as well. So generally speaking, the longer the content, the better. Another reason for this as well is, and this is related to a question that was just asked, how many keywords should we rank for? Well, if we're writing a nice big piece of content, not only can we get one keyword in, maybe we can get about 5 keywords in. So we can actually rank that page for not only one keyword, but maybe 5 or even 10 keywords. I mean, an example of this is one of our pages on our website. So we have an SEO page on our website, of course. And if I remember off the top of my head, it's around 1,900 words. Now you may think, gosh, that's a hell of a lot of words, 1,900 words. Who on earth is going to read all of that? And I completely agree with you. Not many people will actually read all of that 1,900 words. However, the amazing thing is we've displayed that page in a very, very user-friendly format, which if someone doesn't actually want to read all that, they can really quickly scroll to the relevant place and read what they want to read and then do what they want to do. So we're actually giving people the option of actually reading or navigating really quickly to maybe the paragraph they want to read. So we're actually accounting for both types of consumer behavior there, which is really good. But obviously this gives us an opportunity to rank for not only one keyword, but 20 and 30 keywords, because we've got 1,900 words in there, which is really good. And they're all related keywords all around SEO and leads. For example, SEO leads, SEO agency leads, SEO company leads, SEO services leads, etc. You get the point. So generally speaking, the more content, the better. Now, you may think, oh, well, I don't really know how many words to write. How many words shall I write? But, it's a really good question to ask. Well, the easiest way to do it, and again, this is completely free of charge. You don't really need any software to show you this, although there is software that does. You simply type your keyword into Google, bring up the first 3 organic results that pop up, and see how many words they have in their content. So let's just say we're looking at podiatry leads, and I'm making this up, by the way. As you can see, I'm not looking on the software. And we'll look at podiatry leads. We've brought up the first 3 organic results, and we've got an average of, say, 600 words. Well, I know I want to better that, first of all. I don't want to be on par. I want to better. Because if we better everything, we've got a higher chance of ranking for that keyword. So I know if I can rank for 800-900 words, then I'm probably going to better the content. Obviously, what I've got to do, and this is probably one of the most important things, it's got to add value. So it's got to add even more value than those 3 pages we've just had a look at. So it's got to go into more detail or add more value. It's got to be, genuine. It's got to be new. It's got to be, it can't just be copied and pasted from another website. So that's an idea on how to look at competitors and how to come up with a figure of how many words to write about. Now we'll talk about Yoast, and what I'll do is I will copy and paste this link into the chat very shortly. Once we finish this section, I'll just make a note on that. Now this screenshot was taken sometime last year, and this shows some of our SEO copy for our website. Now, this is an old version of the copy. It has been edited since then. I can see if we look here, it says 1,700 words. Now it has 1,900 words. But that's just, I suppose, an example of how important it is to update your content, update the pages on your website. We update most pages on our websites every 6 months to keep everything fresh, to keep everything current. And Google recognizes that, and that's why they rank us so highly. But back to the point. So Yoast, what is Yoast? Yoast is really good software. Again, I'll send you the link for the browser-based software, which is really good. And all that you simply have to do is pop in your copy that you've written for your keyword. So let's say we've written a really nice 800 words on podiatry. Great. We'll copy and paste all that in, and we'll also put in the focus keyword, the keyword we're trying to rank for, which in that example was podiatry London. We'll pop that into the box at the bottom left. Now, once we've popped in those 2 bits of information, below there'll be a traffic light system that pops up and tells us how good our content is and tells us what we need to do to improve. It's really good, and it's completely free, this as well. So again, for the purpose of today's presentation, we've purposely identified things that are amber and red. Amber and red meaning they need improvement. So if we look on the right-hand side of this screenshot, I'm just going to pick a couple of these out. I'm not going to go through them all, but we'll have a look at the top one. It says the keyword density is 0.5%, which is great. The keyword was found 9 times. So keyword density is how many times you have the keyword in the copy. And it tells you essentially what the optimal number of times should be. So you don't even need to think about it. So obviously if that figure is coming at red, it's for 2 reasons. Firstly, either you haven't mentioned the keyword enough time, or actually more commonly, you've mentioned it too many times. So it's important to get the right balance. When I first started building websites when I was 14, SEO has changed even more than web design really. Back then, it was very, very simple to rank a website. All you simply did is put the keyword on the page, hundreds of times, and you'd find yourself on Google the next week. But now it's changed. You can't do things like that. That's called keyword stuffing. So it's really important that the copy is very natural copy, that you're not going over the top, putting the keyword in there just for the sake of it. And it's got to sound natural. Sometimes it'll be very hard to sound completely natural, but it's got to read well, if that makes sense. So this is why stage 2 content is so hard. I can't do it. English isn't my strength, but Louise is really, really good at this. So that's keyword density. And I suppose just a quick note on that, actually, sorry, before we move on, is keyword stuffing, which is putting too many keywords on your page, can be more harmful than good. So with SEO, there'll be certain activities that you conduct that will have a massive benefit. There will be others that can have a massive, massive negative to your site. Keyword stuffing is one, and building backlinks in an incorrect way is another, which again, we'll talk about backlinks in the last part of the presentation. But it's just important to note that there are right and wrong ways of doing SEO, and the wrong ways are, well, Google will penalize your site and effectively they'll blacklist you from Google. So don't get involved in those kind of activities. Let's pick a couple of more. So let's have a look at the red one. So the red one says the text does not contain any subheadings. Add at least 1 subheading. Again, that would be really easy to add 1 subheading. The amber says 28% of the sentences contain a transition word or phrase, which is less than recommended 30%. Again, all we need to do is add a couple more, remove a couple of more transition words. And the really good thing about Yoast is if you're not actually sure what a transition word is, all you do is you hover over that or click on the link and it will tell you what it is. And I'd essentially edit all the content till everything is green. Obviously, this isn't going to rank you on page 1, but it's a very small step in the process of getting your content to be optimized for SEO before we actually put it on the website on page. So yeah, I'll send that link very shortly when we cover the questions. Now, what Yoast also give you is a reading score, a score between 0 and 100. And the idea here is to be between 60 and 70, which is to be understood by 13 to 50-year-old students. And you may think, gosh, it's not very professional, is it? But people want nice, simple jargon when they're reading on Google. Again, it differs industry to industry. If you're a solicitor, you don't want to be adhering to this. You want your natural your industry jargon to come across, I suppose. Maybe on the sales pages, I'd dress it down a bit, but obviously as a solicitor, as a firm of solicitors, you want to come across professional, don't you? However, generally speaking, for most businesses, keep it really simple. No long, complex sentences, nice, short, sharp sentences that essentially teenagers can understand. Again, Yoast will help you with this. So if I go back a slide, on the right-hand side, content assessment, Yoast will identify, what your score is, and it will actually help you bring that score into the green. It will tell you what to do. And again, this is why content writing is so hard. It's very, very difficult to do. The people that do this are professionals and experts in their field. And lastly, proofreading. So even if you're a professional content writer, it's always a good idea to get someone to proofread your work. Louise always gets someone else in the office to proofread her work. And especially if you're doing it yourself without the content writing expertise, get a friend or family member just to proofread it, and hopefully they'll be able to point out something and add value to your work. And again, just an example of Donald Trump not proofreading his work. I don't think he proofreads much. So, I mean, I don't normally deliver this part of the presentation. I hope I've done a good job standing in for Louise, who was not in the office today. But if you do have any other questions about content, please feel free to ask. And if I can't answer it, I'll certainly direct it to Louise and she'll be able to answer it as well. So I'd like to open up to any questions now about content before we move on to the third step, which is on-page optimization. So as I'm doing that, I'm just going to paste the Yoast link into the chat box. So this is the Yoast link. Okay, let's have a look at what questions we have. Would you assess each piece of content in Yoast? From Chris. Yes, I definitely would. Now, it all depends how you work your website. So, for example, if you have a WordPress website, there's actually a Yoast WordPress plugin that you can activate on your WordPress website, and it builds in Yoast into your page on WordPress. So actually, all you need to do is have a look at the bottom of your page on WordPress in your WordPress dashboard, and the Yoast recommendations will be there for you to edit. But what I'd do is that obviously it's about working smart and being efficient. I'd probably, before I even put any content on the site, I'd paste it into Yoast, edit it in a Word doc, and then put it on the website, because what you don't want to do is put it on the website, then find out that you've got to make all these revisions and all these changes. It'll take you twice as long. So first of all, write it in a nice Word document, paste it into Yoast, paste the keyword into Yoast, and you'll be able to do all the revisions there. What you may find is when you put it on the website, it may throw up a few different things. So it may actually say, right, well, whatever was green before now is amber, so you may need to address it there. I'll have a look at the Q&A. Is the Yoast test done on the content of the blogs written or on the website pages, or both? That's from Karen. Oh, hi, Karen. It's done on both. So obviously, Karen, I know your website. So if you have a look at your website, Karen, you'll be able to see Yoast underneath both the pages and the blogs. And then you'll be able to see what you need to do to get everything in green. A question from Susan. Social media feeds in your website used to help rank your website years ago. Has this changed? Yes and no. So again, we'll cover this in step 4, backlinks. So Facebook and other social media sites, obviously you can get a link from their sites to your website. However, it's now a no follow link, which means it doesn't pass on their domain rating onto yours. And again, I'll come on to that in a bit more detail in the backlinks part of the presentation. Okay, question from Pamela. Is Yoast held within your website? Yoast is held within our website, which has just been rebuilt by one of our designers. So Pamela, it depends how your website is being built. So if your website's on WordPress, there's a Yoast plugin. So essentially you've got Yoast on your website, but it all depends how people set up their website. Not all website builders are compatible with Yoast. So I'd probably speak to your designers. If it is on the website, that's great. That will really help you with content going forward. Okay, so I think that's everything. Lastly, got another follow-up from Chris. Would you look at different keywords for different pieces of content? Yes, exactly that. So it's a bit more of an advanced part of the strategy, and I won't cover it in too much detail, but essentially what you want to do is you want to conduct a keyword mapping exercise. And what that basically entails is you first of all find the keywords you want to rank for, and they're feasible keywords. Then you create a map. And the map basically details which pages or posts on the website you're going to target those keywords. So at the end of that exercise, you'll have a map. So you'll have page A is targeting keywords 1 and 2. Page B is targeting keywords 3, 4, and 5. And you'll have a strategy and a map. And essentially that will be your plan. And obviously it's great to even tier that. And without going into too much detail again, it's great to tier that strategy. So what I mean by that is, let's try and think of an example. Let's use the estate agent example. So estate agents, they offer sales and they offer lettings. So within lettings, you've got lots of different types of lettings. So you have fully managed lettings, you have a let-only service. So you can actually tier the sub-letting services on the parent letting service, and you can map out the keywords in that sense. And then that way, the website is really nicely interlinked, and you have really good internal links. And because your website has really good internal links, Google will recognize that, but don't worry too much about that. I'll come on to internal links and external links again in the last part of the presentation. Audrey, is there anything I've missed at all before we move on to step 3?
Hi, Marco. Nope, you've covered everything at the moment. So yeah, we're good to go.
Okay, perfect. So how are we doing for time? Good, we've got another 45 minutes. So I'm going to spend probably only about 10 minutes on this section, because this section is highly variable depending on how your website is built. So it's really hard for me to give a definitive answer. So what is on-page optimization? Well, step 1, we've done the keyword research. We know what keywords are feasible and we want to rank for. Step 2, we've written that content around those keywords. Now we've got this content. What do we want to do with it? We want to put it on our website, which is on page. So how do we do that? There's lots and lots of little different things we need to be conscious of here to put it on the website in an SEO friendly way. First of all, as you can see, I've got H1s, H2s, and H3s. Again, don't be alarmed. These are actually quite simple. Essentially, this is HTML at its core. H stands for heading. So heading 1, heading 2, heading 3. So what do these actually do? Well, these headings actually tell Google what the page is about. So the H1 is the main title of the page. And obviously Yoast will tell us that we need the keyword in the H1. In other words, we need the keyword in the title of the page, preferably at the beginning of the title as well. So this tells Google what the page is about. H2s think of this as the subtitles of the page. So let's just say we've got, an 800, 900 word article on podiatry. Well, we're going to have probably at least 4 or 5 subtitles that are going to be H2s. Again, in some of these H2s, we're going to have the keyword in there, or maybe the other keyword we're trying to rank for, if we're ranking for, or if we're trying to rank that particular page for more than one keyword. H3s, a good example of H3s could be maybe something like, let's say we've got a subtitle, and that subtitle is, I don't know, something like 5 ways to keep your 5 ways to keep your feet healthy if we're on the podiatry theme. And then obviously we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now each of those 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 can be a H3. So this is just a way of structuring the content on the page to tell Google what we're actually talking about. So it's good to have the keyword in all 3 headings, and it just tells Google what we're talking about, because obviously us as humans, we read the page by how it looks, but that's not how Google reads the page. Google obviously reads the code. So for Google, it's really important that it reads this heading code and it understands what the page is about. Now, it's really important to actually make sure that you've actually labeled it correctly. And what I mean by this is simply just adding a subtitle isn't enough in some CMSs. A CMS is the content management system, however your website is built, basically. So in some CMSs, you actually need to go into the subtitle and select a heading, whether that's going to be a H2, a H3, etc. So just double check that you've got it structured right. And if you're not sure, speak to your web developer. It's a very, very simple job for them to do. Secondly, we're going to talk about metadata. Metadata, again, if I actually just come off this and show you an example. Let's type in. Right, so as you can see, we're the first result that pops up on Google after the maps. The metadata, essentially we're looking at three variables here. First of all, we're looking at the title. So this title here. And then we're looking at the description, which is the small sentence here. And then we're looking at the URL, which is a bit difficult to actually see here, but the link that we're actually going to, which is Greenacre Digital /services/SEO company leads. So we've got title, we've got description, and we've got the URL, which is the link. So this metadata here is really, really important. And again, Yoast will tell us what we need to do if we're missing specific information. So we've got to get the keyword in the title, we've got to get the keyword in the description, and we've got to get the keyword in the URL, in the link of the page we're actually creating too. So quite simple stuff. Moving on to my next point, I've already touched upon it, URL structure. Again, it's really important to get the keyword in the URL of the page, in the link of the actual page itself, and to get it in a good way. So what I mean by this is, if we're writing a blog post about, I don't know, something, that, the top 10 podiatry clinics in London, well, we want to make sure that we've got the keyword in there and it's displayed in a proper manner. Now, obviously, in code, you can't put a space. If the keyword encompasses 2 individual words, podiatry London, for example, we can't just put a space. We have to use a dash instead. That's how Google will read it. So it would read something like podiatry London. So it's important to get that URL structure correct. Another thing we need to consider when putting content on page is images. Images are really, really important. Obviously, we don't just want a load of text, and that's for several reasons. Firstly, users respond better to things that are more visual, and I certainly do as well. I'd much rather watch a video showing me how to do something than read a 2,000-word article. That's just me. However, it's always good to give people the option to do both. So that's why we need to have a really good, thorough article, but the article can be navigated really quickly for those people that would rather be cut straight to the point and find that concise bit of information they're looking for. And images and videos are a great example of how to do that. Obviously, images helps break up the content a bit more as well, so it's visually a bit more pleasing. Images, again, if you can have real images of people at your company rather than, say, stock imagery or imagery you've just taken from Google, that's really, really good. People trust those a lot more. Now, with images, we need to be careful to put them on the website in an SEO-friendly manner. So the name of the image should ideally have the keyword in there somewhere. And when we actually upload the image, we need to make sure we're not uploading a big, clunky, massive, 10 megabyte image. We want to upload an image that's been optimized, that's lightweight, and isn't going to slow down the loading speed of that page, because loading speed is really important for SEO. If you put yourself in Google's shoes, it's their job to direct the person who's searching for the keyword to the best possible website that's really friendly, really fast, and going to answer their question. So they're always going to prioritize and rank higher those sites that load really quick. So if your website takes longer than 2 seconds to load, I definitely think about instructing someone to bring that time down to less than 2 seconds. Now with images, again, let's assume we've put the image on the website. It's named something to do with the keyword, and it's been optimized. It's not a big clunky file, but also we're going to give it an alt text. And now in that alt text, this is really important. It's for people that are visually impaired, but not only that, it tells Google what the actual image is. Again, all this is essentially code. Google can see the image, but it doesn't really care what the image looks like. So it needs to know what it's called. It needs to know all its data. So if we can rename the alt text something to do with the keyword, that's a big bonus as well. Again, Yoast will tell you that too. Then we'll come on to internal and external links. So we'll talk a bit about this on this section, and again, we'll elaborate a bit in the next section, the last section. So an internal link is a link from a page on your website to another page on your website. Really simple. The easiest example probably to think about is a link from your home page to your about page. Really simple, a good example of an internal link. And it's really important to have lots of meaningful internal links on your website so that it gives your potential customers and your users a really easy way of navigating around your site. Now, at a point I alluded to earlier on in the presentation, the question was asked, how many pages do we rank for how many keywords? Well, once we've mapped out our keyword structure and our strategy, we know what pages we want to target certain keywords, we can actually link those all together with internal links if they're related. For example, let's talk about office space in York. Well, let's say we've got a page talking about office space York. We've got another page talking about maybe something along the lines of hot desking in York. So not the exact same, but somewhat related. And again, it would be a good idea to link those pages together for those that are looking for more of a hot desk than an exclusive office for themselves. And we can do that through internal linking. External linking is a link, again, an external link is essentially a backlink, which is a backlink, again, is a link from another website to your website. But in this sense, we're looking at it in the reverse. So we're looking at it, a link from your website on your particular page about podiatry in London to someone else's website. Well, you think, why on earth would I want to do that? Why would I want to send traffic from my website to someone else's website when I spent so much effort in getting someone to come to my website, right? Well, it shows Google that you're an authoritative source because you're willing to link to other websites that maybe are a regulatory body. So I'm assuming, I could be wrong, but I'm assuming podiatry companies are maybe regulated or become part of a podiatry board or something like that. I know solicitors are, accountants are, they're part of a regulatory body. So it'd be a good idea to actually link back to that to say, right, well, we're approved to this company and it adds value to your website and it shows you're associated with them in some particular way. A good example of this, linking to government sites, obviously not linking to your competitors, but linking to people and partners and stuff like that. Lastly, on this section, before we address the questions and move on to backlinks, we touched upon speed. Speed's really important. You need a website that loads fast. It's almost a prerequisite to any SEO work. So if your website isn't mobile friendly and responsive and it isn't fast, then I'd address those issues first before you start any SEO work, because once you've actually fixed those issues and you've got a website that's really fast and responsive to all devices and mobile friendly, then you'll find your SEO results are actually better. Finally, I suppose a really important point is, well, what's the whole point of doing this, right? We want to generate more inquiries from Google. That's the whole gist of this. Well, we've got to tell people what to do. I know it sounds stupid, but we've got to tell people on our website what to actually do. And that's what a call to action is. A call to action tells someone what to do, whether it's to fill out a contact form, to call a number, or to I'm trying to think, purchase a product if it's an e-commerce website. So within that content, we've got to have really compelling call to actions, and often more than one. So we can maybe have a call to action before we even scroll down on the page. As soon as we hit the page, a call to action, then maybe one halfway down, and maybe one right at the end, all saying slightly different things, but actually take that potential customer to that next step, which is making that inquiry. So call to action is really, really important when you're putting your content on site. Obviously, if you weren't to do call to actions, it'd just be loads of information and you'd be essentially gambling. You'd be relying that the user, the visitor, would contact you for more information. So we've got to tell people what to do and persuade them what to do. And again, that's when it really helps to have a content writer who can write really compelling language that's also optimized for SEO. So that's it for on-page optimization. So I'd like to welcome any questions before we move on to backlinks, which is the last part of the SEO process?
Hi, Marco. Yes, we do have a few questions. So the first one comes from Rosie, and she's asking, do keywords need to be next to each other? For example, if I want to type for piano lessons Darlington, would writing piano lessons in and around Darlington help me rank for that?
So there's two separate things I want to talk about there. So I'd target both of those keywords on the same page. However, I wouldn't necessarily put them next to each other. Certainly not in the content itself. In the main content, you want those keywords to be, not far away from each other, but certainly not next to each other. So it'd be a good idea to have subtitles and mentioning it in the paragraph text as well. One thing you could actually do is in the meta title, you could actually have the keywords next to each other in the meta title. That would be okay to have a primary keyword, maybe a comma, and then the secondary keyword in the title. But in the content itself, in the headings and the paragraph text, I wouldn't put them next to each other.
Okay. Another question, it's from Joe, and he's asking, on WordPress site with Yoast plugin, do you have to specify the keyword for each page that you want to rank for?
Yes, that's really important. If you don't put in the keyword, it won't be able to run the test to tell you what you need to do. So you put the keyword in, as soon as you put the keyword into it, it will tell you what you need to do to improve the page. It can't run without the keyword in the keyword box.
Yeah, thank you for that. And obviously you talked about the URL structure, and we've got a question from Miriam, and she's asking, or I think she, can you just change the URL to make sure that the URL doesn't include all random numbers and letters, and it has actual words in it?
Yeah, that's a really good question, actually. It all depends how your website is set up by default. Now, if you're using WordPress, if you go into your settings, there'll be a drop down that says permalinks, P-E-R-M-A links, permalinks. And if you click on the option that says post name, basically what that will do is by default, it will attribute the URL, the title of that page, which is essentially what we want to do to some degree with SEO. So it all depends on your default settings on your website. But what I'd do is I'd change the default settings to automatically change the title of the page, the URL of the page to the title. And then within that, you can manually refine it further just to maybe include the keyword if you want to be ultra specific. But I suppose it's hard to say because websites are built in so many different ways. Maybe your CMS or maybe your developer doesn't have that generic setting. But obviously, if you speak to whoever designed your website, it's a very simple job for them to do.
Okay, thank you for that. We've got another one from B. I think this question is really great as well. Does it matter which page the keyword content is on, or does it have to be on the home page to have the greatest effect, or does it just need to be somewhere within your website connected with links?
Yeah, that's another good question. So generally speaking, the home page will be the strongest part of your site, because the reason being is most of your links will go to the home page, and therefore it's seen as a very authoritative page. So if you have a particularly, if you're really keen on a certain keyword, and if this keyword is, I want to say, generic enough that encompasses the whole of your business, then yeah, of course, I'd rank it on the homepage. However, if the keyword is a subservice or only a small part of your business, I wouldn't rank it on the homepage because it's not directly relevant to what your business is as a whole. So if you have specific smaller services, I'd rank those individual service pages for those keywords. However, if your business is just one, it has a generic keyword, I'd rank the homepage for that. I hope that answers the question.
Right, okay, yeah, thank you. And we've got another one from Sue. She's asking, any additional tips you can give her for getting seen in a crowded market? I'm not really sure what her market is, but I suppose she's in a crowded market and it's hard for her to rank for the keywords.
Yeah, so it's hard to say. I suppose if you message me with your website, I can maybe give you a bit of pointers. Some industries are really competitive, and some aren't. So I can have a look at that.
Sorry, Marco, she just tipped in. She's saying that her market is hotels.
Hotels, yeah. Typically speaking, hotels are quite competitive because what you'll find is the the bigger sites, you know, booking, hotels, late rooms, they'll actually have a massive SEO strategy themselves. But if you message me afterwards with what areas you operate in, hopefully we can maybe find some easy to win keywords.
Okay, yeah, thank you. And we've got one more from, one second, from Iwone. She's asking, what size images are optimal to take into consideration the load speed of the website?
Yeah, so I'd probably say less than 200 kilobytes as a general rule of thumb. Obviously, if it's a massive full screen slider image, it's going to be higher res than that. But you know, less than 200 kilobytes is probably about right. Obviously, think about how many images you've got on the page as well. So if you've got 10 images, that's 2 megabytes that needs to load. So it's probably a bit too much. You can actually construct your website in a way that it has a lazy load feature, which means that it loads as the user is scrolling down, which actually decreases your load time as well. So yeah, I'd probably stick to less than 200 kilobytes per image.
Okay, yeah, excellent. Thank you for that. And I think we're good to go to the next session of the presentation.
Great, perfect. So backlinks, we'll spend a bit of time on backlinks just because it's arguably, again, a really important part of SEO, which, to be honest, not a lot of SEO companies themselves actually partake in. But this is where you will see a difference and where you'll start to climb the rankings. So again, we'll just briefly touch on what a backlink is. So a backlink is a link from another website to your website. Now, you know, why on earth do we need backlinks? I mean, the best example I can give is you're at university, you're writing a dissertation, you're writing an essay, an assignment. You need to obviously reference other people's work to give credibility and to give weighting to your piece of work, don't you? So it's the exact same here as it is with websites. So you need other websites to link to yours to tell Google that, hey, you know, my website's really powerful, it's authoritative, and, you know, it should be seen by people. So that's the exact same concept there. So first of all, we need backlinks. Now, really importantly, we need good quality backlinks. Anyone can go to Fiverr and they can pay $5 and they can get 1,000 backlinks. But I can tell you now, that's going to do far more harm than good, because those backlinks will come from sites that have a domain rating of 0, and those backlinks will actually just disappear in a couple of months. So what you need is you don't need too many backlinks. You need really good quality backlinks from relevant websites that have a high domain rating. So what do we look for in a backlink? So first of all, domain rating. So does that website have a high domain rating? And again, the figure is somewhat difficult to actually come onto. So it all depends on your figure, right? So if yours domain rating is 5 out of 100, then getting a backlink from a website that has a domain rating of 20 is pretty good, right? That's going to help bring up your website to something higher than 5. However, let's just flip that around slightly. Let's just say your website has a domain rating of 20 and you've identified a possible backlink site that has a domain rating of 5. Well, do we actually want that? Probably not. We don't want a link from a website that has a domain rating of 5 if our domain rating is 20. So we need to get websites that will help bring us up, not pull us down. So domain rating is really important. Relevancy is really important. Now, again, I said before, you can get to Fiverr, pay $5, and you can probably get 1,000 links from India or China. Now, unless you're an Indian or Chinese company, then that's not going to be relevant, is it? If you're an accountant in Leeds getting 1,000 links from Indian companies, Google has the power to know that that's not right. So we need relevant links. And so what I mean by that is, let's just say we're an accountant in Leeds. Well, first of all, we want other companies in Leeds to link to us. That just further tells Google that we operate in Leeds. We also want other finance companies to link to us. That again further tells Google that we operate in finance and accounting. So we've got to have relevant links, not links from irrelevant industries, irrelevant countries that have low domain ratings. Now we're going to talk about do follow and no follow links, the second point on the slide. And very simply, there's lots more variants of this that have been released by Google, but we're just going to talk about these two because they're quite important. A follow link, a do follow link, is a link that is from another website to your website and passes on some of that domain rating to yours. So it passes on some of that, it's called link juice in the industry. So it will help push up your website, it will help increase your own domain rating. Whereas a no follow link will not help increase your domain rating as much. And again, we referred earlier on in the presentation around social media and specifically Facebook. Links from Facebook and other social medias tend to be no follow. So it won't do too much help in increasing your domain rating. It will still help, don't get me wrong, but it's not going to help really dramatically increase that domain rating. So first of all, we want a genuine mix of do follow and no follow links. We don't just want lots of do follow links. Again, alarm bells will start to ring in Google if we've got 100% of do follow links. They know we're trying to play the system. We want a nice, genuine, authentic mix of do follow and no follow links. But obviously, you'd probably be willing to pay for, or you'd be willing to do a bit more work to get a do follow link. Now, in terms of anchor text is the text that we use to make that link. So an example could be, okay, we're an accounting firm in Leeds, and let's just say one of our partners, they do, I don't know, insolvency, and they link to us and we link to them and we help each other out. So on the insolvency website, they have a link, come see our partner, ABC Accountants, and they've got various options on how to link to the accounting firm. They can either use the brand, in other words, their name, so they can use the text ABC Accountants, the brand. They can use their naked URL, which is www.abcaccountants.com, whatever it is, their URL. Or in fact, they can use the keyword, which could be accountants leads. They could use the keyword to link back to them. So generally speaking, there's three options we have when editing that anchor text to get that link, if that makes sense. Now, not all websites will allow you to have control over the anchor text. Obviously, some websites will give you a link and it's up to them and how they want to link to you. They could say, right, well, we can only link to your www. Or, in fact, we can only link to your brand name. But obviously, if you can find a website that you have control over the anchor text, that's great, because then you can actually have a proactive strategy on getting the right combination and the right mix. And again, it's completely similar to the point above, to the follow, no follow. We want a nice, genuine mix of the brand, so ABC Accountants, the naked URL, www.ABC Accountants, and the keyword, accountants leads. We want a nice, genuine mix. And again, just to illustrate the point, if we have 100% of the anchor text is the keyword, again, alarm bells start to ring. It's not good. It can do a lot more harm than good. So as you can see with backlinks, we're always very cautious and we always do things the longer term, safer way, as opposed to, a lot of companies will go on Fiverr, spend $5 and get 1,000 links, but get penalized by Google. So it's really, really important. You put so much work and so much time and effort into the first 3 steps of the process. You need to get this last remaining part of the process correct. The last point on the slide is the destination URL. Well, what's this? So we've spoken about the text we use to link, but where are we actually linking to? Are we linking to the home page? Are we linking to the contact page? Are we linking to that particular service page? What page are we linking to? Well, it's a good idea to have a combination. So first of all, I think primarily we need a link to whatever page it is we're trying to rank for. So if we're trying to rank for the accountant's leads page, we need to send the link to that URL. But it also helps to send maybe to the home page as well, just to give Google an idea of what we actually are as a company. And it's good to have a good, genuine mix of URLs there rather than 100% on one page. So that's the very kind of basics of what we may have control or may not have control over when it comes to backlinks. And now we'll show you a couple of ideas about how to go about it. So again, just to illustrate the question that was raised earlier, how do you know if a link is follow or no follow? Well, really, really simple. If you hover over that link right click, this is on Windows by the way, right click and you click inspect. The developer tool will pop up, but now, it's a load of code, but don't be alarmed. They're only looking for 2 words. As you can see in the circle, I'm not sure if you can, hopefully you can see on your screen, it's quite small, but it says no open and no follow. So this is just an illustration of a no follow link. Facebook is a no follow by default. Most social media platforms are no follow by default. Now, if that doesn't have no follow in, by default, it's a do follow link, it's a follow link. So you know that it's potentially going to help you a little bit more than a no follow link. Again, an example of anchor text, and we've got the 3 different variables. You can see we've got 3 different variables highlighted in blue. So first of all is Green Gecko Digital, that's the brand. That's a brand link, so we're using our name as a company. The second example is an example of using the keyword, SEO in leads. So we're using the keyword as an anchor text. And the final example is the URL, the naked URL. We're using the URL as the anchor text to link back to our site. So it's always a good idea to have a mixture of these combinations. So, the $1 million question, how do we actually get backlinks? How do we go about doing it? Now, I'm just going to tell you a couple of ways on how we actually do this, because I'm conscious we've only got about 10-15 minutes left, and then we need a bit of time for questions at the end. So, there's a couple of ways. First of all, directory sites. Now, what are these? These are sites that list maybe companies in your industry, companies in your location, etc. So find relevant directory sites, maybe one specific to your area or industry. Now, don't just go ahead and list your site on there. You need to actually vet that website. So, do they have a good domain rating? What other websites listed on there? Is it a spammy site? We've got to make sure it's a good, genuine site that has a high domain rating. But that's step number 1. If you're a new site, directory sites. If you're an established site, you'll probably already find you listed on these directory sites anyway. Step 2, press releases. So press releases are a really good way of acquiring backlinks. You can reach out to publishers, write a nice story about you, and within that story, you can get a link back to your website. You'll often have to pay for it. Not many publications are free of charge nowadays, but it's a good way of getting a link and getting your story out there as well and showing off your business. Some press releases will give you a bit more control over the link, the anchor text, etc. Others will maybe just say, yeah, we can only give you one branded link. So again, it all depends on the publisher. And the third, competitor analysis. This is my favorite, and this is where often we see the quickest wins. Again, our software allows us to find a competitor and see every single one of their backlinks. It's really, really amazing software, actually. And all we simply have to do is, let's not reinvent the wheel. We can have a look at their backlinks, get them all, or download them all into a file. We can filter them by the ones that we actually want to acquire. And what I mean by that is get rid of all the ones that are, abroad. We'll get rid of all the ones that have a low domain rating, and we're left with some really good quality ones that we can reach out to and acquire. This is often the quickest and best way of getting backlinks and starting to compete with your competitors. And the last 2 methods are a bit more advanced. The skyscraper link building method all revolves around, first of all, producing better content. As we spoke about before, we always want to better things. We don't want to be on the same wavelength. We want to be one step ahead, and we want Google to acknowledge that. So if we create better content, technically, we're adding value, right? And users should prefer to come to our website over our competitors. Now, once you've actually created that better content, all you have to do then is reach out to all the people that link to your competitors and say, well, we've created this brand new piece of content. It goes into more detail. There's a free tool on that anyone can use. All we ask is that you link to this website. And more often than not, because it actually adds more value to their target audience, they'll link to your website. And instantly you've leaped over your competitors, hence the term skyscraper. Again, broken link, the last one, broken link building, again, is another easy one to do. This involves looking at your competitors and essentially taking advantage of broken links on their website. So we can have a look at our competitors. We can see that maybe 3 or 4 of their pages are broken. And what I mean by that is when someone tries to go on them, they can't get to the page, it's showing there's no page, or redirects to another meaningless page that's not relevant. So all we simply do is reach out to the websites that are linking to those broken pages and say, well, are you aware this page is broken? We've got a page on our site that covers the same topic in more detail. Would you like to link to our page? And at least if you link to our page, your users will have more valuable content than linking to a broken page and then bouncing off. So it's actually a win-win for them, because they don't want people, they don't want their users to all of a sudden drop off. They want to help their users too. So this is a couple of ways on how we acquire backlinks. Again, here's just an example of a press release with again, a branded link in there. So what we're going to do is I'll open questions for if there are any questions on the backlink section, and then what I'll do is I'll just briefly summarize, and then we'll have a little section for the other questions that we didn't actually cover so far. So yeah, Audrey, I'd like to welcome any questions we've got on backlinks, please.
Yep, sure. So the first one from Joe: is it a good idea to go on relevant trade directories or groups such as Yorkshire Mafia to get the backlinks from?
Yeah, that would be a good idea. What I'd do is, if I was you, is I'd check their domain rating. I assume it would be okay, because the links with a lot of companies. I'd check if it's a no follow or do follow. But yeah, that's a good idea. Being part of a network is a good idea to actually get backlinks.
Yep, thank you. And another one from Joe again. Could it be a link via blog post on someone else's website so you can count it as a backlink to yours?
Yes, of course, yes.
Right, and we've got another one from Karen. How do you find out competitors' backlinks? So do you want to show the Ahrefs software again, if that's okay with you, Marco?
Yeah, of course, yeah. So you'll need software to actually see competitor backlinks. So I'll just show you an example, I suppose, then. I'm trying to think of a company to use. Let's go on let's use the estate agent example. So estate agents leads. I'm just going to pick the first one that pops up, Manning Stainton. So all I do is I paste the URL into Ahrefs, and there's a backlink section. And again, this is public information, so anyone can technically access it, so there's nothing wrong about it. And you'll be able to see here in the backlink section, if you scroll down, I'm not going to, obviously, for their privacy, but if you scroll down, you'll be able to see they've got 384 that you'll be able to have a look at. So you'll be able to filter by domain rating and have a look at the ones that you really want to go for, exclude all the ones that are maybe less than 10, and exclude the ones that are operating in different countries. But this is a really good way of going through one by one and finding which backlinks you want to actually acquire. And you can export all this data into Excel and then filter it. So it's a pretty handy tool.
Okay. Yep. Thank you, Marco, again. And I'll combine Moira's and Chris's questions into one. They're asking, they're confused as to how to reach out to acquire these backlinks. Do you just simply ask for them?
Yes. So, I mean, it helps if you've got an existing relationship. Obviously, we do this on a daily basis. So we have a really good database and relationship of people that we work with. But obviously, if you haven't done it before, you need to build that relationship. What you'll find is the cold approach is very, very difficult with the cold approach, especially if you have no mutual connections as well. Because as you can imagine, these publishers, they get hundreds of requests every single day. I can tell you that for certain. A lot of spam emails asking for links and stuff like that. So it helps if you know people. Obviously, there'll be others that you can reach out to, and some will reply to you, but more often than not, they actually won't reply to you. So if you identify maybe 100 links that you'd like to acquire, if you reach out to 100, you'll probably be lucky if you get 25% of those with no prior relationship. There are some sites where it's fully automated, where you can actually pay that I don't really like those sites. They're not really too legit because they don't vet anything. And what you normally find is those sites, they don't really have good domain ratings, and they'll accept links from anyone, which is a bit risky for your website too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay, wonderful. At the moment, we don't have any more questions, so back to you, Marco.
Okay, great. Well, I'll briefly just summarize, and then we'll open it for any generic questions if anyone has anything.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we've spoken about what SEO actually is and how it differs from pay-per-click. And essentially the SEO is a four-step process for us. So first of all, it's keyword research, finding out what keywords we want to rank for, which ones are realistic. Then we write content around those keywords. Then third step, we put that content on the website in an SEO-friendly manner. And again, that will differ depending on how your website is structured. And then finally, once we've done that, we'll then acquire backlinks to the page to essentially help Google rank that page and see it as an authoritative page. I suppose it's worth just saying, before you even start conducting any SEO activities, to actually set up Google Search Console if it's not already set up, because Google Search Console is a really good way of measuring the results and the performance of your work, essentially. So Google Search Console will tell you how many people every single month are clicking on your website, and it even tells you what keywords people are typing in to get to you as well. So it's really, really good information, really good data. Obviously, I strongly recommend getting some premium form of SEO software, at least to conduct the keyword research in the initial stage. It will really help you, because obviously you can appreciate we've covered a lot, and if you get the first step wrong, keyword research, then it's a complete waste of time. That being said, obviously you can instruct other SEO companies to do that work on your behalf. We'd welcome such work. We welcome anyone that wanted help with their SEO. So please feel free to reach out. I suppose we'd like feedback on the presentation as well. So if you think we've done a great job, I'd encourage you to leave a review. I'll pop a link in the chat form to our Google review section if you'd like to leave a review, if you found it useful, that is. If you want any other help whatsoever, please feel free to email me. I'll bring up my contact details, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can, and we can do some research and see how we can help. So what I'll just do is I'll pop a review link in the chat box, and I welcome any questions in the meantime.
Yes, Marco, we've got a really great question from Damien. He's saying, as a solo entrepreneur listening to this, I'm trying to make an assessment about the amount of effort and the level of skill I would need to rank highly on Google. Can you offer your thoughts on effort and skills and best way to justify a return on investment for SEO effort for solo entrepreneurs?
Brilliant question. Brilliant question. So as you can see, we've got the four-step process. Now, the odds of anyone really being skilled in all these four areas are extremely slim. I mean, I've been doing this a long time. I'm terrible at writing content. I'm really bad at it. That's why I hire professionals. So for example, if you're really good at keyword research, which really only requires an analytic mindset and good business insight, if you're good at that, but you're really bad at content writing, well, you can hire a content writer to help you out with that part of the process. And then once you've got the content, you can forward the content to your web developer to put on the website. Now, I suppose a note here is, it may sound really odd, but I can guarantee you now about 90% of web developers don't know about SEO and don't know what they need to do to optimize a particular page for SEO. So you could really do with having someone on board that knows how to optimize your website on page for SEO. So having that skill set is really valuable, whether you have it yourself or you have someone else to help you out on that. That's really valuable. Again, backlinks, anyone can do. It's a manual process. It's a laborious process. It just takes time. Once you get your head around it, it's very, very simple. It just simply takes time, and you've got to be very patient also.
Okay, yeah, thank you for that. Another question from Emma. She's asking, where can I check where I rank on Google currently?
Well, if you've got Google Search Console, you can do that. So if you don't have it, just Google Search Console and you can set it up. It's very, very easy to set up. and it will tell you where your current ranking for your keywords. If you don't have that, there's premium SEO software you can pay for, and it tells you your ranking. But to be fair, Google Console is free and probably the best source to actually see your current rankings.
And we've got another one from David. He's asking, is the Google Search Console the same as Google Analytics?
No. So I'm going to change this. I noticed a mistake in my contact number. It's different. So Google Analytics is more about the analytics and performance of your website as a whole, whereas Google Search Console we're looking at organic SEO. We're looking at the organic results of your website. So they're very good to look at together. But if we're looking at SEO, I really want to focus on Google Search Console first, and then have a look at my Google Analytics. And often you'll see they're quite closely related. So for example, what I mean by that is, let's just say you rank really highly for the keyword accountants leads, and that's shown in your Google Search Console. Well, what you may find is in your Google Analytics, in that page, your users are spending a lot of time on that page. They're really interacting well with that page, and that's reflected in your high ranking. So what you'll often find is they mirror each other.
Okay, yep, thank you for that. And whilst we're waiting for more questions to come in, I just want all the participants to know that our next webinar is taking place on Thursday this week, and the topic will be on who are your target customers and where do they hang out on social. So if you are looking at improving your skills with targeting your ideal customers, this is the webinar for you, and you can book it on our website as well at the moment, and the follow-up link with the registration link will be sent in the follow-up email to all of you, and today's recording will be sent in the follow-up email as well. So don't worry if you missed something or you weren't able to stay for the full duration. And now going back to the questions, we've got another one from Miriam. Does Google Trends give you a good keywords to go for?
It's a tricky question. Yes and no. So first of all, with SEO, just point aside, SEO is a medium to long-term strategy. So there's a risk with Google Trends that it's a short-term trend. And if it's a short-term trend, for example, say, I don't know, PPE and the coronavirus, it's a relatively short-term trend. Well, I think so anyway. So by the time you've ranked for that and put in the hard work and the effort, that search volume would have dropped dramatically by the time that actually comes to fruition. So what you need to do with trends is you need to ensure the trend is a continuing upward trend. As long as you think that trend is going to continue increasing, then yeah, it's a really good idea to start optimizing for those keywords. But if it's a short-term fad, then I wouldn't recommend ranking for those keywords. But obviously, if you are ahead of the trend, now with one of our current clients, we're actually doing this. So we're actually forecasting potential search volumes, 2 years in advance. And we're ranking for these keywords now because we want to be number one when it becomes really big in 2 years' time. So if you can get it right, it's really, really good. But obviously, if you get it wrong, it's a lot of time wasted. So it's a fine balance.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay, excellent. We've got a really great question from Austin as well. He's asking, for SEO, does it work for, let's say, a 3-month period to create that visibility for a company instantly, if you like, or is it better to go for a much longer period to sustain it and keep the keywords where they are rather than losing them in terms of ranks?
Yeah, I would not conduct SEO if you were going to do it for only 3 months. You simply won't see a benefit. I'd say if you're planning on doing SEO for anything less than a year, I probably wouldn't bother with it because you're just not going to see those results. As I said before, it's a medium to long-term strategy. If you are looking for just 3 months, I'd probably recommend the pay-per-click route. That will be better, more short-term instant exposure. But SEO, it's very, very hard to begin with because obviously you need to put a lot of work in to start that momentum and climb up the rankings, right? But once you're there, it actually takes far less work to maintain that position. So, if you're only willing to put in 3 months, you may only just move the needle very slightly, whereas you probably need a year of consistent work to really make that momentum really count and start to work up the rankings, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And thanks for that. And we've got another one from David. He's saying, doing my website by myself, how long would I need to allocate my time for an SEO, purposes per week, roughly, if you have a number to give him to him?
Yeah, it's a good question. It all depends on how competitive your industry is. I'd probably say a day a week is a good amount of time. As I said before, it's quite, there's 4 parts of the process, 3 of which are very time consuming. So I'd say if you can allocate a day a week, that would be great. I suppose just think of it as a way of marketing your business and a way of, I wouldn't say sales, it's a step before sales, isn't it? But it will generate sales in the long term.
Yep. Okay. Excellent. Thank you for that. Yes. At the moment, it doesn't seem that we've got any more questions, but we can just stay for a little while, and let people come up with their questions if they got any more. And if not, then obviously we'll wrap it up. But let's give it a bit of a couple of minutes and see if people have more questions.
Yeah, sure.